Hello, and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean. And happy Labor Day.
Yep, it's Labor Day when we are recording this.
We are laboring.
We are laboring. Well,
this is labor.
This is yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We're working right now.
Yeah, we're working on this for you, and glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed the Superman thing that we did last week.
I had a good time.
I know. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing more of those. You know, probably. I think we've tried to maybe do it like once a month. I think that'd be a good clip just to keep things fresh. You know, and I think now since because I had to take a few weeks off, so we had the pre-recorded stuff with the Shadow Pact, and that went very well. Thank you for anybody that was asking how I was. Thank you. And there's a few of you. Our good friend Russell.
Yep.
Was quick to notice that. Which he jumped in on a comment, said that the capital of Krypton is Kryptonopolis or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it's not mentioned. We don't know if it's mentioned in the series or anything like that. But
it's in a book somewhere.
But it's out there somewhere. I mean, clearly, at some point, these probably like Superman in the 50s was like Kryptonopolis.
That's really funny. Like, we should just name a city Earthopolis.
I think we should.
Oh, that's good to know. I did not know that.
I think it's Kryptonopolis. I think that's what he said.
I'm sure it probably is.
Sounds about right.
I'm happy to know this.
That was quite dope. So, yeah, I look forward to watching more of those things. Which, actually, speaking of comics and cartoons,
yes,
we watched a bunch of those DC movies over the weekend.
Sure did.
Because I came home. I was out doing something, and I came home, and you were watching, what was it, Warworld?
Yes, Justice League Warworld. And I had watched, before that, Batman Doom Comes to Gotham or something like that, which that's like an Elseworlds type thing. But so I watched Warworld, which is, obviously the Justice League getting put on Warworld and like trying to figure out how to get out of it, and then getting hijacked by Harbinger. So we can go into... Yeah,
it's weird that this one jumps right into this next set of movies.
Yeah, which is the...
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Which is a 3-parter.
I didn't know they were doing this.
I did not know.
That's the thing. That's how kind of out of the loop I am with some of these things. And it's like, they just came out this year, but there's 3 parts.
Yeah.
So they've been spreading them out.
Yeah.
But it's weird, though, because on Max, you can
get the first 2.
Yeah.
You have to, if you want the third one, you have to rent it on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll show up on Max eventually.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. Crisis on Infinite Earths is such a huge story, and it's such a dense story in the comic lore. I've read a lot of it. I think it's awesome. I love those some of those DC crossovers like that really, really speak to me. But I mean, obviously, it's a big one because there's a lot. It changed a lot of things as we know it in comic book lore for decades.
Yeah,
decades since, and I think it's a hard story to tell. In the way that you want to keep it interesting and cohesive on some sort of medium. That's like a televised, like an anime or cartoon or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's definitely the first part is very
doesn't have anything to do with it.
It feels like it doesn't have anything to do with it because the focus is around the Flash mostly, and they're fighting a Mazo, and then all of a sudden we're just jumped right into it. Where Harbinger, who is now Supergirl, it's not just Harbinger in the comics, was just Harbinger, just some girl that Harbinger in the comics was just some girl that Monitor found floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
Because she had she was a part of like a boat wreck or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Edmund Fitzgerald or whatever the fuck. And then Monitor, because all he's like, all I do is watch. I don't do things,
Right.
And so he picked her up. And in this one, we got Kara involved. She because Supergirl plays a big part in the book itself, because she dies in that book.
Yeah.
There's that famous cover of
course, Superman holding her, and
so and then whatever happens to the Flash, we'll see. It's not going to end well for him probably. But yeah, no, I think it's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the third one. There's definitely a lot of things that are interesting, the way they change things, but then they also kind of interject like these new worlds and new characters, people that you really weren't expecting to see.
Yeah.
They try to flesh it out, but then it's like, well, maybe could be more. I don't know. It's just, I feel like you could have done it in two things.
Probably, but maybe they wanted to, I don't know, really expand on it or something.
Well, I mean, look, this is the time to do it. I mean, you might as well,
Well, that's the thing. And you mentioned it when we were watching it. It's just like DC does so well with these animated movies. They do very, very well with them. And they're usually really good. But Marvel doesn't seem to do them.
No.
Which is so strange.
They just don't do them. Like, you just don't see that. Like,
yeah, like DC's
exist.
Like fucking cranks them out. Like, I looked it up because, I'd seen a whole bunch of them.
Uh-huh.
And then we kind of just fell off of it. And then looking it up, I mean, there's so many titles that I didn't even know they had. They had Batman Hush, which I feel like maybe I knew, but maybe I didn't.
I knew about that because there was like a thing at Comic-Con I was telling you about, like when just before it came out.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that one's not on Max. So I had to actually rent that one.
Which, again,
and before it was even done, I said, I better buy this on DVD.
Good.
Because that's my babies. I have to.
I know. Well, I was surprised you bought some action figures for your...
I did. I bought a Batman and a Catwoman.
You bought a Batman and a Catwoman, the McFarlane Arkham City version.
Yep, and they're black and white. They're gray, or like grayscale.
Yeah, he does a lot of those grayscale. They really...
They're nice figures.
There's a lot of stuff that DC does really well sometimes.
Yeah.
And you wonder why it is that they can't get the movies right.
They do the animated movies great.
The animated movies are fantastic. The action figures, I mean, they're definitely more expensive they could probably include more,
of course,
items in there for what
But because I mean, I watched that Batman Hush, and obviously I have the book. I've read the book like a billion times, so I was pretty aware of what's happening, and they do stick to it mostly, but then they change slight things. But I actually think it works for the better for the movie.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah, I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. Plus that Doom Came to Gotham thing. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
That's some fucking weird ass shit. But you know what? It was fun. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going with it. It's good time.
We were telling me about it because it was
Etrigan shows up.
In there. So I'm a Etrigan mark. So I'm like, all right.
Oh, I think you'd enjoy it because he does show up. It's just so strange. And I'm just like, all right, sure, whatever we're doing here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they do so well with those, and I don't know why they can't get the live action stuff right.
Because you know what it is? I feel like it's a different set of like
writers
and like executives that handle this stuff that are like, well, yeah, because these movies, the movies need to make like a shit ton of money because that's what they bank on. Yeah. They bank on these tentpole movies that, and so they have to like whatever's going on with like James Gunn right now, like whatever, isn't there a title to it?
Oh,
like Superman something or other.
Something. What is it called? I'm gonna look.
But Superman, like, so that movie's going around. We got Superman with Tony Khan hair apparently.
Oh yeah.
I
really hope it looks better because literally when I saw that picture and I don't even know who's playing Superman. It literally looked like he had a cat on his head, like a dead cat.
Yeah, it's not great. Who was it that's in this movie that I got excited for? I think
it's called Superman.
Yeah, I feel like there's some people that are going to be in there.
Oh, maybe it's Superman Legacy. There we go.
Okay, yeah, Legacy.
Superman Legacy.
So, but I don't know how we're going
2025.
Yeah, well, let's see if we make it.
Yeah, let's see what this says. Read all.
But I'm looking forward to just seeing if they could do something with it. This is the third. Okay, so in cinematic situations, this is like the fourth Superman. Yeah. And we're giving this a shot. And
is this guy British? He must be.
They're all British.
David Cornsweet.
Cornsweet?
Corenswet. Cornsweet.
Cordy Sweat.
That sounds like a British name, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This man must be British.
He's definitely British.
Oh, no, he's not. He's American. I'm shocked. And he was born in 1993. I think I'm going to go kill myself right now.
Hey, at least he was born slightly before the animated series started.
God damn it.
That's not too bad. Look, 93 ain't too bad. Given to where we're at, it's only 13 years. It could be worse. He could have been born in like 2005. Yeah. And he's like, I'm Superman. I'm a baby.
I'm baby Superman.
Baby Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Anyways, but it's looking good. Those cartoons are, the animated shows are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to
I was digging it.
See it.
It was a good time. Oh, he's 6'4". Good for you.
So yeah, he's a tall boy.
At least he's a tall boy playing Superman. I feel like you have to get a guy who's 6'4" to play Superman.
You need a tall boy.
He's got to be huge.
You need. I mean, I don't know how tall Cavill was.
He's only like 6 feet.
Yeah, but he was pretty beefy.
He's pretty beefy, but like and they didn't really, but if you put him next to Affleck, Ben Affleck's 6'4". So it's like Batman taller than Superman.
We Superman.
Yeah, I'm like, no, Superman has to be taller than everybody. That's how that goes.
Yeah, no, we need him to be. I don't want him to be like Manute Bol, but
no,
I definitely do.
Batman's like 6'2" ish.
6'4". That's like Billy Gunn.
Yeah,
like that's optimal. If I wanted to be I think if I was going to be taller, I would want to be at least 6'4".
That'd be cool
because that's a good, it's a good meaty height.
Mm-hmm.
You could do things with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because you stretch out the
body,
the mass, and you could, and it's one of those things where you have like, oh man, I got trouble eating. I have trouble keeping weight on.
Man, I wish that was me. That'd be awesome.
Right? There's people who's like, man, I just try to keep weight on. It's like, I don't know, man. I can get fat pretty good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm good at that.
But I could, yeah. But that's interesting. I look forward to seeing who's the villain of that.
You know what? I don't know. I can't. It just says like, there's this like it's coming in July of 2025.
I feel like there's interesting folks in there.
Oh yeah, it's also one of those movies that I'm purposely staying away from reading anything about.
Oh, I know. I
don't want to know.
Here's all I know about it is
it's got that guy. Yeah, poodle hair. He's 6'4".
6'4".
And he was born in 1993.
And in
James Gunn is directing.
James Gunn, and then also in they're filming it in Cleveland, I guess. And they built
that kind of makes sense, yeah. They built the Hall of Justice. You told me that. Hall of Justice
thing. So there's a film of it. There's a picture of that. That's all
nice.
I know.
Yeah,
all I know is the movie could just be Superman just walked up to the Hall of Justice and goes in. The end.
At this point, you know what?
$150 million.
Best DC movie in years.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's like, oh, wow. 5 stars.
Sawate. My name is Stella, and I am the host of Batgirl to Oracle, the Barbara Gordon podcast. Batgirl to Oracle is a podcast dedicated to Barbara Gordon, the first woman to hold the mantle of Batgirl for an extended period of time, roughly 1967 to 1988. The goal of Batgirl to Oracle is to examine the character's history from her first appearance as Batgirl and continuing through her tenure as Oracle. Each episode looks at a vintage issue of Detective Comics or Batman, as well as other books like Justice League and Freedom Fighters, and modern issues of Batgirl and Birds of Prey. I also keep track of news involving Batgirl and other members of the Bat family, and I have a revolving series of segments like Babs in the Tube, which highlights appearances of Babs in TV and film, Shipper Spotlight, which looks at a variety of comic and pop culture couples, gives their history, and determines whether they are hot or not, Reading with Stella, which could be described as an audio drama, or just me reading a book that relates to Babs or doesn't, and of course, the mainstay literature recommendation. I have been blessed to interview writers Scott Beatty and Chuck Dixon on their Batgirl Year 1 work, Brian Q. Miller on his Batgirl run, Dwayne Swarzynski and Christy Marks on their separate Birds of Prey work, and the creators and actors of the Batgirl Spoiled, the web series. I hope to interview more creators and actors in the future. My goal, most importantly, is to make a fun, entertaining, and thoughtful show that people enjoy and from which they learn. Find the show online at thebatmanuniverse.net and iTunes, and follow the show on Facebook and Twitter at Batgirl to Oracle. Thank you, and fly on, Babs lovers.
What do you want to do?
Well, I guess we should read our book this week, which is...
Well, it is. This is an interesting one because I don't really know if this is the worst comic book collection, the worst book.
It might not be.
It's not be. It's not be.
It's all silver and everything. Like the whole, it's got like a fancy cover.
Well, I'll explain here.
Yeah.
So we're doing Silver Surfer Volume 1, Number 1, cover date August 1968. Now,
but the actual, what does that say on the trade?
So what happened was, we went to Second and Charles.
Yeah.
And they were having for used books, it was penny a page.
Yeah, penny a page books.
And I bought this Marvel Masterworks, which is like a ongoing series of like collected books they have, like
classic shit.
Yeah, it's all the classic shit, and this one's obviously probably been around forever. 2003.
Yes.
So this is old. Yeah, so they had this, and it was a penny a page. So this only cost me roughly or like just under $2, or whatever, around or under $3, under $3 or roughly around there. And so that's why this is kind of like depicted like this. And it's really cool because I've been wanting to pick this up for a long time. I just want to read more about Silver Surfer. I just feel like he's kind of been a blind spot of sorts in our show. I mean, there's a lot of characters that are, but
we have talked about him, but not a lot.
We've done a few issues. I perceive it to be more complicated than it probably actually is. So it's hard to just jump. I feel like it's hard to just jump in and just start reading something.
Right.
But, we just are getting around to it now because now we're going to do I think we'll do the first 3. I don't know. I was thinking, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
At least the first 3 issues. So, and this is just a classic book. And Silver Surfer, he was already a character. He already debuted in Fantastic Four. And there was the whole reason why as we find out in this book, that he's unable to escape Earth or leave Earth.
Yes.
Because Galactus was like, no, you got to stay here.
Galactus was like, fuck you.
So he keeps him on Earth, and this is where his ongoing series starts, which this series only went maybe 2 years. And then Silver Surfer, I feel like kind of fucked around with, the Defenders for a long time, wherever, whatever he would just show up, I can't really think of where else he would have been. But let's get into it. The book, of course, Silver Surfer #1. The cover here, it's just a cool shot of him flying towards us. And this is back when he actually wore modest underwear.
Oh, that's right, because he does have underwear drawn on instead of just being sleek.
Yeah, just a sleek guy, which eventually that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
But, he it says, big premiere issue, Origin of the Silver Surfer, all new book length Marvel epic.
Okay.
Sentinel of the Spaceways. We're selling the shit out of it. So this is great. Most eagerly awaited epic of the year, The Origin of the Silver Surfer, proudly presented by Stan Lee and John Buscema. But we'll have to be more specific here. Stan the Man Lee and John Blood and Guts Buscema.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Oh man, I missed that.
I don't know.
That's really funny.
Now, this is the thing. I was thinking about this today. I typically don't care. I don't know why, but I always kind of just don't care about Stan Lee the way other people do. I feel like, or maybe it's just as I return to my comic fandom.
Sure.
He was kind of like this parody. It felt like, people were just like, Stan, all right, and I'm like, yeah, obviously he did a bunch of stuff, but then you kind of hear about
kind of fucked everybody over.
Kind of fucked over people over, and you got, like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and all these other people that are kind of left. They're not left behind.
I did see something weird on Twitter the other day, which was some rumor about Stan Lee at Jack Kirby's funeral. And then somebody was like, no, I forget who tweeted it. They were like, no, it's somebody who was there. He came and he just stood in the back.
Yeah.
At Kirby's funeral. And then he left.
No, what it was like Stan Lee came, pissed on his grave.
Yeah, right.
So, but Stan, this is something that Stan Lee wrote, and I fucking love it.
Oh no, it's really good. Does it say who drew it?
John Buscema.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was co-writer.
The famous John Buscema. He is, he's drawn a bunch of stuff.
I was confused because I couldn't see it.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. That helps me.
Yeah, I was trying to think of other things he's done, but
we sit on separate couches.
We sit on separate couches, and I hold his book in my hand,
and he holds it, and I just do this from memory. But yes, no, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really, really,
it's just
really
awesome.
Beautiful.
And we're off and running with Silver Surfer just putzing around Earth as you do.
Yeah,
and he sees looks like a capsule from space, from a space shuttle or something, returning to Earth.
Yes, and he's like, I have to help this person because I know what it's like to be a space person. So it crashes into the water.
He surfs down into the water, which is kind of neat looking.
Yeah. So he surfs down into the water. He gets the guy and just kind of flies him back up.
I just love this little fish here. The fish is just kind of floating by.
Oh, that's really funny. I didn't see that.
He's just kind of like, nah. Look at this guy, get out of here.
That's really funny.
So he pulls this guy out of the sea.
There's a great drawing when he goes, and I think it's on the next page, where he goes in front of the aircraft carrier.
Oh, like right.
That one at the top.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
It does.
Just the way he's gliding into the frame and stuff.
Yes, it's just beautiful.
The aircraft carrier, like the soldiers see him and they're like, say, hey, he's got our guy and he's going to cause some danger. And he just puts him down and he's like, hey, all right. So I saved your dude. And he flies away. And then they start shooting missiles at him and the jets are going after him.
Sure.
And he's
that's
like,
nice.
Yeah. And he's like, I helped you guys. And everywhere I go, everybody just wants to kick my ass.
Well, I mean, you are a silver dude on a flying surfboard.
Yeah. I feel like the superhero craziness that this version of Earth has yet to see is not yet, it's not there yet. So seeing a silver guy that originally did come to the Earth to lead his boss to kill you guys, you don't really know what to make of him.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like zipping around. So, but then he zips around. He leaves him in the dust because he's Silver Surfer. He goes and flies through Russia, and the Russians start shooting at him.
This poor guy.
And they're like,
does he even go to China?
The Russians is like, don't worry about it. He's going to China.
Yeah.
And he goes to China, or the Red Chinese.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh. But again, what is this, 68?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your dad wrote this.
Jesus. Probably.
But he's flying by and he's like, and they're shooting at him and he's like, I could blow them all up, but why? And
I won't. I'm going to be nice.
The Chinese guys are like, just like, no, this is an imperialist plot. He's a colonizer, and he's coming after the People's Republic. And something about their response to this is to shoot a Silver Surfer and also print out 1 million new posters that have some thoughts from Mao Zedong.
Sure.
I don't know.
I think they actually used to do that.
But like, is this like a poster saying it's like, we don't approve of Silver Surfer or whatever? Like,
maybe. I know that there was, in Salem, there's an art museum. And I don't know if it's still there, but there was not the museum, but there was an exhibit where they actually took like a house. And it has a specific name where it's like all these people in the same family would live in it. It's like in China. And like you walk into it, has like a courtyard and stuff. So they took it and like actually rebuilt it in this museum. And in this, there is a speaker in the corner because that apparently is where they would like broadcast the leader's thoughts.
Oh,
yeah.
So he's going to have thoughts on Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he might. He could just broadcast it apparently through the speaker. I can't remember what that thing was called. It had a name.
Yeah, it's Mao Zedong's just like, he's silver and
No.
He's
wearing silver underwear.
We tried shooting him, and it didn't work. We think it might be Americans.
Yeah, maybe.
See you later. Mao Zedong, see you later. So, he's flying around, and he goes to the mountains, and he's just like, wow, this Earth is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
And they have all this great stuff and they could do all these things.
Yeah.
But they just choose to be
assholes.
Yeah.
He's like, humanity was in. This is, decades before anybody started talking about like climate change or whatever. But it's like, look at this gorgeous planet. It's so great. We have all these resources, but humans just don't give any literal fucks about it. And they just fight and pollute and destroy because that's what humans do.
He's also doing a lot of dramatic gestures, which it gets even worse.
He is. Yes, there's so many hands.
It gets even worse in the next issue.
Ooh.
So it's really...
Is he Italian?
Yeah, he's kind of Italian. He's kind of like, hey.
Talking with his hands.
Silverino surfer meets a balsa. I brought
It's DeSurfio.
I brought my Papagino Galactus. He's hungry. He wants to meet he wants a big Earth that meets a balsa. Earth the balsa.
So,
but this is where we get him just thinking about to his past. Now we're getting to the origin.
This is such a weird thing because I didn't realize this was what was going on. So it's like Silver Surfer being like, hey, when I lived on my planet, it was super advanced.
Yeah.
And we had eradicated poverty and crime and homelessness. And now I'm bored.
He's like, yeah. They've achieved all the goals.
Now we just get to hang out and like have a good time, but he's bored because he's bored of people hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah, and his thing is like, well,
he's like the only one.
We didn't earn this peace.
Yes.
So
people before you did.
I want to explore. I want to figure out what it's like to have to struggle or just be able to discover.
Yeah. I mean, how many wars we didn't earn this peace either? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't fight World War II. We weren't even here.
Yeah.
We didn't earn that peace.
I guess that means I should just get in the flying car and just jet around the planet being like, ah!
Apparently, yes.
I'm so sad.
You have to be upset because people are not fighting, apparently.
He just wants people to fight.
He kind of does.
He's trying to start a fight club.
He's just like walking around being like, well, there's nothing for me to do. So maybe I should like find something to do. And I hope a war comes because that would give me something to do.
He's even complaining about conveyor belts. Like,
yeah, I'm like, dude, we have those in the airport. Like,
yeah, they're really helpful.
Yeah, they're great.
When you walk on them, you go faster and get to move faster. That's why they have them. And he's just standing there being like, I don't like this.
Yeah, so don't walk on them. I'm sure there's like an airport. I'm sure you don't have to.
Yeah, why don't you, in order to, if you want to get somewhere, why don't you hike up there?
Man.
Why don't you throw some grappling hooks? Don't take a hook. The thing is, they don't even have any weapons, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but a grappling hook doesn't technically have to be.
But they don't need grappling hooks because they don't need to explore.
I mean, people would still. I don't know what his planet looks like. I don't know if he has a mountain. It's beautiful.
There's all sorts of great stuff.
Is there a mountain? Because that's what you use like stuff like that for.
He mentioned something here. I don't quite understand. I'm trying to figure this out. Like,
go climb Everest. You know what I mean?
They don't have Everest.
Well, they should have an Everest. Hopefully it doesn't have as many dead bodies as ours does.
It says, to those whom no distant horizons beckon for no challenges remain, though they have inherited a universe, they only possess empty sand.
Okay.
Okay. Also, by the way,
I'll take that empty sand, man. Just FYI.
Silver Surfer's real name is Norrin Radd.
Yes.
That is his real name.
Yes.
This is Norrin Radd.
Yes.
Walking around
before he has been Silver Surfered.
Walking around in his planet of Yulbrenners.
Yes.
And, bald guys, Telly Savalas.
Yeah.
Just your classic bald 60s guys. He goes to the library, the Museum of Antiquity, excuse me. You literally can get all the information zapped into your head. It's like a Total Recall kind of thing. You just sit in a chair and they just put all this shit in your head. And he's like, set the mental transportation element to the dawn of time when Zenn-La was still untamed. And some guy's just like, sure. And so he could look at this. He could go back to the dawn of time. They have sick ass holograms.
That's awesome.
Which you could witness.
I don't know how you would be bored with any of this.
I don't know. I'd just be going back and forth. But can I go and see what it was like when
whatever. I'm going to spend today.
Can I go watch a football game? Do you have like any sports games you go back and watch?
You can.
Just sit in the audience, be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I bet you totally can. I'd be like, I would like to see what life is like on a sailing vessel in 1796.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to hang out today. I mean, I would not be bored by this.
So this is the thing that's crazy.
This man just doesn't have any imagination. No, he just wants to kill. He just wants action. He wants to see action.
He wants action.
He's
tonight.
like, you know what he is? He's the soldier in every war movie who's complaining about not seeing action, who got shot the second shit starts going down.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty much that guy.
Yeah.
It's crazy though, because he's talking about, in the beginning, like, man, whatever they are. I don't know if they're humans, but
sure. Humans.
Whatever, they evolved, and there was a 10,000 century age of warfare.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Well, I feel like we're kind of hitting that, right? Like,
are we?
Well, I mean, since the dawn of time, humans have fought each other. I don't know if we have, 10,000 centuries or whatever? I don't know if we have that much, but pretty much since the dawn of time.
So that led to the age of reason, and there's an old guy writing stuff, and he's just like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like old people just sitting around I want to be the guy writing this stuff down.
Then write something down.
Yeah, why don't you create something else? Why don't you write a fiction book? Why don't you become the George McFly?
That's what I mean. Like, you have all this time. This is when you paint, you write, you do art.
I know you have the opportunity.
You have the opportunity to be creative, and he's just like, meh.
Yeah, and they just apparently the Zenn-Laians or whatever, Zenn-Ladians.
Sure.
They just gave up doing space exploration.
See, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I realize this is what they did, but I don't see that happening.
No.
Like, he's also like, oh, they're always happy or whatever. And I'm like, if you have any sort of emotion, you can't always be happy. I guarantee you there's a depressive walking around there somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody's got some anxiety. Well, they're going to tell you about it.
I like him. So it's there's a person that's working at this museum. It's like, hey, buddy, it's closing. And he's just standing there. All is ended.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I got to get this guy out of here now.
Yeah, it's this guy again.
This guy comes here every week.
Every day, starts yelling.
Just starts crying about there's nothing to do here. And I'm like, dude, why don't you go and like make a sculpture or something, you know?
Yeah, go find one of the masters of painting. Go learn from them through that little thingy. You can go hologram and watch them do their thing.
Yeah. So he's in the mountains. It's snowy, and there's Yetis.
There are Yetis in this book.
Abominable snowmen.
And of course they start attacking him, and he's like, well, I can't blame them for attacking me because they're always being attacked.
They're always being attacked, and this is all they know is to beat up. And they're just kind of like...
They're blue.
What?
They're blue.
Well, they're spiked, but I feel like it's just the way the winters thing. But I like how this drawing is of him, these two Yetis, like, swinging around. He's just kind of like, oh, sure, just swing me around.
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
I'm so bored.
I'm so bored here on Earth.
This sucks. And so, he gets...
He's all mad about people shooting at him, yet on his planet, he was hoping somebody would start shooting.
Yeah. And so the Yetis start fucking with his board. And and then the Yetis start fighting each other because they don't know they know how to do is fight. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he's just got this one where he's just standing on this.
Oh, yeah. That's a great drawing, though.
Just this great drawing.
Very, like, almost like the Thinker-esque.
No, it isn't even that. He's just like crouched over, just looking down at the floor of at his board. I don't
even think he's doing that. I thought he was putting his head on his
he's taking a little desk nap.
Yeah, he's got his arms up, propped up on his knee, and he just put his forehead down.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this anymore.
And then he starts thinking about being on Earth and how even people that he tries to be friends with betrayed him. So, like I said, at one point...
Fed up with this world. Everybody betray me.
Pretty much. And at one point, the Hulk, he saves the Hulk from a fight, and the Hulk is like, this is...
Yeah, but you can't...
Hulk.
The Hulk, you can't really be friends with the Hulk at this point in time, anyway.
Yeah, so the Hulk... the Hulk was like...
Smash
where he just shoots him. And then Dr. Doom is like... Because he just goes to visit Dr. Doom. He's just like, hey, what's over here? And Dr. Doom's like, hey, can I, like, have stuff from you? And he puts, like, this weird...
Yeah, what is
Jack
this thing?
Kirby-esque contraption on. It's like a...
And he, like, zaps his brain or something?
Yeah, he just kind of goes up behind him and, like, zaps his head and takes a bunch of his power. He somehow defeats him. And now he's just... more and more just zipping around. He finds like a secret cave in the Himalayas.
Yes.
Where he's just like, wow, this was probably a cool place. This is just nobody cares. Is this just his melodrama, just him walking like, oh,
he is
my aching heart.
Yeah, he's very dramatic.
And then he's thinking about his lady. Yeah. So now we go back.
What's her name again?
Shalla-Bal.
That's right.
Shalla-Bal, and this is where he's talking to his lady. They got a nice little rug here. Look at that rug. It's like a thing in Soylent Green.
Yeah, it's like all fuzzy.
Yeah,
it's a bearskin rug, but not made of bear.
And so we get him like just sitting there, and
she's like, "Hey, maybe you should go do things." And he's like, "Nah."
Yeah, he's like, and she's like, "Look, I'm like your lady, and I can't really do much else for you. So you should like
go find a friend.
Go see the world. Like go do something. Like, just go knit.
Do something.
Make a Zenn-La sweater. I can
think of so many things.
Zenn-La is number one sweater.
Even if I just sat on a couch and stared at a wall, it'd be awesome.
And so
you know what I mean?
He's just like, no, I can't take it because I did not earn this. Paradise unearned is but a land of shadows. My goodness. And then we get to see him out there where these people are, I don't know what they're doing. It's like this tram.
Yeah, which is cool.
This little tram, and they got these little crusty monsters there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's looking at, and apparently you just sit in a chair and a study cube goes in your brain and you learn everything. And then if you just want something, they have like a fabricator of some sort called a cyberno materializer.
It's like a replicator sort of thing.
Yeah. And apparently it's also just some cheap ass shit. It's just like, like you can go to Sears and get it or whatever. Or you go to Walmart and just pick one up and just like, whatever. They got we got the best value brand. It doesn't matter. You can just make whatever you want. You can make a ship. You just think of it. The ship just appears.
Nice.
And as this is happening, the citizens alarm goes off for the first time in a millennium. And a dude comes on screen. He says, hey, there's like a big spacecraft. And he's coming through our defenses. It's coming through our defenses, which, it's like they should work, but they're not. And we don't have any weapons. So we're kind of fucked. Yeah.
And everybody just kind of gives up. They're like, this is it. We can't do anything about it. And he's like, no, this is what I've been waiting for. Fucking finally, I am going to fight.
Right. Yeah. No, he figures it's time to, time to stand up and do something. And so Zenn-La does have a weapon called the Weapon Supreme.
Nice.
Makes me think of like Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yes.
We have to unleash the Crunchwrap Supreme.
It's also that American Horror Story Coven. Yeah, they have to find a new Supreme who's like the head of the coven. Yeah, that's fun.
So this is the one thing that can save the Earth. The Weapon Supreme. They're assembling it looks like, or I don't know. It just looks like a bunch of gunk. And I'm trying to see if this is actually with this picture. I don't even know what I'm looking at here with some of this stuff because this is gray thing.
Yeah, I don't know what the gray thing is.
That's the Weapon Supreme. That's the Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh, it just looks gray.
It just shoots out at Galactus' ship, which is like also like a globe or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It goes so hard that the other planets around them are forced out of orbit.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Everything is smashed in the planet.
Yeah.
In a matter of seconds, and
that'll fuck you up, man.
They're like, all right, let's see if we did good. And it turns out it didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Everybody is despondent. They just were like, we'll just wait to be conquered.
We are going to die.
We're going to die.
I mean, that's kind of how
and these people are being. I just like these drawings of these people.
They're like rending their garments. They're very upset about this.
Yeah, we're doomed.
I mean, sometimes you got to just accept that you're doomed and just continue going about your life.
I'm accepting we're doomed for a long time.
Oh, same.
I'm not like this though.
That's the thing. I'm not running around like that. I still go to work. Still do this podcast. Go to some wrestling.
Yeah,
have a good time. But I fully accept the fact that we are fucked.
Yeah.
So these people need to take a page from our book. Just keep doing what you got to do until you die, okay?
Shalla-Bal is, again, she's just like, whoa, well.
Is this the one where she grabs her own neck? There's a drawing where she grabs her own neck.
Is this it here? Or is this, you mean this?
It's like a close up of her face.
Oh, okay.
It might be the next. I think he's talking to her. It might be like one of the next one, but she literally looks like this.
Well, he runs away. Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to go and do something. I don't know what. He tells the scientist, he's like, look, build me a ship of some sort.
Yeah.
So I can go and fly up to this ship and just see what happens. Just because I am so bored, I will do that. I am the one guy.
I am the only guy. And so he does. And then the scientist is like, 10,000 years ago, we'd have so many men volunteering for this. And now we only have this guy.
Yeah. And so he just thinks of a ship and it just shows up and it's just there.
Yeah.
It just his little Superman rocket or whatever. Yeah. It's actually kind of neat looking Jetsons little car. I don't know.
It's fun.
Kind of like it. Yeah. He jets up to Galactus's house.
Yeah. He goes and he's like, what the hell? Yeah. And Galactus is like, hi, Galactus.
Yeah. Galactus. So now we just get Galactus showing up because as soon as he comes in, he gets like zapped or something.
Yeah. And he's like, so I'm going to eat your planet.
Yeah.
Because I'm hungry. And that's what I do. And he's like, but you can't because there's like human life on this planet and it's sentient and it's just not right. You shouldn't do it. Galactus is like, yeah, but I'm hungry.
Me hungry.
And Silver Surfer was like, what if I like went in front of you and like told you which planets were like worth eating?
Yeah.
Would you spare my planet? Galactus is like, well, that might be kind of cool.
It's like, I never thought about that. Maybe I'm kind of tired of doing it myself.
Yeah, he's like, I could have somebody like check out the restaurant for me. I understand where Silver Surfer is coming from. Obviously, you're going to destroy my whole planet. But Galactus is just eating. It's like a predator. You know, it's like, it sucks. But like sometimes I go outside and find a bunny head in the garden. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's just nature.
It's just nature. He agrees to this deal because he's like, well, basically, my fate doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
Because we're kind of fucked as it is, because even if we try to resist you, you're gonna fight us back, and you're obviously
gonna eat us.
You're gonna eat us. We don't have any real weapons. We shot the Crunch Wrap Supreme at you, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll do what you need, and he's like, cool. Now you're Silver Surfer,
and you've got this cool suit. The reason you're silver, and he looks like he's dabbing. Like
he's kind of dabbing.
He's dabbing the way he's drawing. He looks like he's dabbing.
This rule dab.
But he's like, now you have this like shiny thing and it protects you from radiation and you don't need to eat or breathe or any of that stuff. This is now like, you've been shrink wrapped basically.
Mm-hmm. You can go whereas in cold space, you can fly through a sun. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And he just creates this board. They don't call it like a surfboard. It's just a board.
It's a board.
It's just a board. And he's like, now you can do whatever you want with this board. Now go find me a sandwich.
Yeah.
But before he does that, he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to go say goodbye to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, hi, it's me. I'm Silver now. And she's like, oh, shit. You know, she's like, rightfully just like, she's sad.
I think this might be the picture.
This one here, where she's like to chokeslam herself.
Yeah, she's strangling herself.
Because he's like, well, I may never be back.
That's autoerotic asphyxiation that she's into right now.
Yeah, because Silver Surfer's like, you know, I'm never going to be able to come back. This is it, baby.
Yeah.
You know, see me never.
Bye.
And she's like, never will there ever be another one such as you. I must kill myself with my own hand.
Yep.
He goes to these different ones, and he finds some places where they have life, and then they have some that are just planets.
Yeah, and those are the ones he's trying to like feed to Galactus, or just the ones that are just like planets.
Yeah, which, you know, I mean, he can go pretty much anywhere in the actual known galaxy.
Yes.
That, you know, exists. So finds what he finds, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing. And I don't know how long this has been going on for him, like whatever time frame we're dealing with here. But then he shows up around Earth and he's like, wow, Earth looks pretty good. That looks like a nice snack.
Delicious.
Like you're gonna like this one. I'm gonna serve this one up and you're gonna enjoy it. And
he's like, but is there this where Silver Surfer's like, no, there's like humanity on it?
Well, this is where he, you know, he's just like, no, there's a lot of people on this planet and you need to, you know, be cool with that.
Yeah.
And this is where the Fantastic Four interject. Reed Richards creates a weapon called the Ultimate Nullifier, which just looks like a blackhead gun.
Nice.
It's a very small weapon. And he just
with a really great name.
Yeah, and he just puts up to Galactus' face. He's like, ah, shit. So, you know, he's upset, obviously, with the Surfer. And he's just like, you're stuck here on Earth.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I don't want you to be my herald anymore. Fuck off. You're stuck on this planet.
Next issue is when lands the saucer, because that's when some aliens show up. And it's going to be dope because I've already read it. And it's just, I really dig this. But I also understand why this character hit so hard at the time, because his message and just his attitude, like it was very much like, it feels like it was radical thinking of the 60s.
Sure.
Trying to challenge the norm, you know, even though it's kind of the inverse of what, you know, it was on his own planet, because, you know, on Earth, you know, it's like we're in the middle, you know, this is 68. So we're pretty much involved, right in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to
going on.
think about.
Yeah.
You looking forward to the next one?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested to see, because I remember learning when we read about Silver Surfer before. I remember learning about his origin, but I've never read any of it.
Yeah,
like especially the early stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see, and like I said, the art's just absolutely gorgeous in this book. So
yeah, this is classic art.
Just absolutely gorgeous
from John Buscema and is Buscema or Buscema? I don't know. It's like Steve Buscemi kind of.
Buscemi?
Steve Buscema. John Cena.
Oh, it's John Cena.
It's John Buscema. So yeah, no, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
a lot of fun here, and I'm really glad I got to pick this up for cheap.
Yeah, seriously, that was actually a really good find.
Yeah, that was there were some good books to be had that day.
Mm-hmm. Even though we had to stand in line for like half an hour.
Oh my god, I felt so bad for that kid.
I did too.
There was a kid that's working there, and having worked retail before.
Yeah, both of us have.
We both understand the deal. It sucks because this poor kid is just like trying to like maintain this line because people are in there obviously to buy books.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to close,
because you can't really stay open, and they just haven't, and I feel like they're probably understaffed.
Oh, they definitely were. They only had 2 cashiers.
Yeah, 2 cashiers.
For that huge freaking line. I'm like,
and it's like what you need is at that point, you need somebody like manning the door.
He was basically doing that at the same time.
But like also like make sure new people come in, because new people just keep coming in.
Yeah.
And I remember this one lady, like she's just a customer. She doesn't, I'm not trying to give her too much shit, but she just comes in and she's just like, my daughter wants a book. What are you guys doing? What does that mean? This poor kid is about to short circuit.
Oh, like, he was really upset. I felt so bad. I was looking at that kid and I was like, oh man, I've had those days.
Yeah.
When you're just trying to get to the end of the day and you're just trying to manage the line, keep other people from coming in, getting everybody through it so you can fucking lock the doors, clean up and go home. Yeah. That's all you want.
Well, what you need is like an employee, like, I don't know. There's just like things that you would do in like a store that you have to like shuttle these people around. It just sucks. I hate it. Yeah. And I felt so bad for that kid.
I did feel bad for that kid. I was like, oh man, I know where you've been. Yeah. I've been there too.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. You can find us on our socials, and please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get the show. If we're not on your favorite podcast player or a podcast player that you would like to try, let us know, and we'll see if we can fix that. And also, please check out the YouTube channel. My Angry Hero 79 channel is the channel where this is, but if you check the link in our description for the show, you could go to the YouTube playlist and you could find a way to subscribe to that. I believe you can subscribe to that playlist and get the new episodes as they drop, if that's a thing that you do on YouTube. So once again, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.